Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. So, welcome to yoga. Um, and I just wanted to let you know that some of you are new to yoga today. One thing to remember about yoga is that it's very personal. It's personal to you. So, what you see me do isn't necessarily what you should be doing or what you should look like. Okay, it's whatever your body will give you today. So you need to be mindful of what your body will allow you to do today, and remember that this practice is not my practice, but it's your practice. So the point is for you to get the most out of it for you. The other thing is that yoga should never hurt, ever. So if you are doing a pose or doing something that is hurting, my immediate advice would be to stop doing it, or just don't try to do it as intensely or as much. Pull back a little bit and just allow your body to go where you are. Yoga is not about stretching. It is about using your breath to allow the body to release its muscles and allow you to get more movement within your joints. Okay, so with that, this is going to be a pretty low-key beginner practice. I'll give lots of hints and modifications with props. I have a blanket, a strap. I'm using 2 books because I'm on the road, I'm not at home. So my books will be my prop today for my blocks, but blocks are definitely preferable. So let's go ahead and start in a seated position. Sit nice and tall with the shoulders over the hips. If you need to sit on something, if you brought a little beach towel or blanket with you, you can put that underneath you. You can even sit on a block, which I actually prefer a lot of times because you want the knees to be below the hips. So if you have a tighter hip structure where your knees are up here, sitting on a block or a blanket will actually be a lot more comfortable. So with that, roll the shoulders back, then relax down, relax the hands, and close your eyes. Bring your gaze to that third eye center, that spot right between the brow. Take a nice big inhale, and as you inhale, allow the crown of the head to reach up towards the ceiling. Feel the chest raising, the belly inflating, and then allowing everything to sink down with the exhale. Continue to follow the breath. With each inhale, feel the vertebrae spreading, the body getting longer. And as you exhale, feel the body surrendering into the earth. Feel the sitting bones sinking into the floor. And just watch that breath. A great way to watch the breath is to count it. Don't try to change your breath. But count how long it takes for that inhale. And then count what the exhale is. Ideally, you'd like it to be even. The typical for me is a count of 4 in, and then a count of 4 out. As we keep that gaze on that third eye center, forget about anything that happened prior to this practice. Let go of anything that you have going on after this practice, later today, this week, or even next month. And just be in the moment. Allow your exhale to bring you inward. Feel the coolness of the air as it comes through the nostrils. And as you exhale, releasing any stress or tension out the nose. And your next inhale, let's raise those arms up towards the sky. Bring the hands together, looking up at those fingers, and then exhale those hands in front of the heart center. Spread those fingers wide. Press the hands firmly towards one another and let the thumbs touch the chest. Close your eyes once again. Bring the gaze back to the third eye center. And take a moment to set your intention for the class. An intention is anything that you want it to be. There's really no rules. It can be related to you physically or in this class. It can be something that's completely outside of this class. It's very personal to you. Release those hands, inhaling them up, looking up towards that sky. Bring the hands together, exhaling them down. Interlace those fingers. Place them under your chin and inhale up the elbows. Exhale, round the back. Pull the belly back towards the spine. Push those fingers out away from you, rounding the shoulders. And then inhaling up, letting the shoulders sink down, back towards the back. And then opening the palms of the hands to the sky all the way down. Inhaling it back up. Exhale those hands in front of the heart center. Interlace those fingers, place them under the chin. Inhale up the elbows. Exhale, round that back. Pull that belly back towards that spine. Inhale it up. Exhale, open the palms to the sky until they reach the shoulders, and then you can turn them down. One last time. Inhale it up. Exhale those hands back together in front of the heart center. Interlace your fingers. Now shift them over one so the interlacing feels a little funky. Place it under the chin. Inhale up the elbows. Exhale, stretch out those fingers. Pull that belly back towards the spine. Inhale it up. And then open those palms up towards the sky and back down. Inhale up those arms. Grab onto the right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, reach over towards the left side, using the left hand to pull up that right arm to get that whole right side of the body as that you inhale. As you exhale, let that right sitting bone sink into the earth and let the body bend over towards the left. With each inhale, feel the body elongating, feel the right ribs separating. Release the jaw, the face, big inhale, exhale, release it over. Try to keep the leg and the right hip loose. It wants to tighten up and squeeze in. Let your breath sink that sitting bone and that right side down to the earth. Inhale back up to center. Switch wrists. Inhale up that left side. Exhale it over towards the right. As you exhale, let that left sitting bone sink down. Inhale, reach it. Exhale, keep the neck neutral. Don't clench the jaw. Are you gripping that wrist with like a death grip? Keep it loose. Inhale, exhale. And inhale back to center once again. Bring those arms all the way down. Now go ahead, if you're sitting on anything, go ahead and remove it and come into a tabletop position on top of your hands and your knees. Your toes can be tucked or untucked, your choice. Push into the mat, don't collapse into the palms of your hands. So really push the mat away, pull the belly back towards the spine so you have a nice firm grip. The legs are hip distance apart. Take a nice big inhale. As you inhale, let the belly naturally sink down. Don't push it down so you'll get a little curvature in that spine. Shoulders will pull back towards the hips, and then exhale, round the back. Pull the belly back towards the spine, rounding into that cat. Inhale it up. Exhale, round it. So cat-cow, They can move this cat-cow around anyway. We're getting the crunchiness out of the back. So you can exhale around it, maybe come back to one heel. And every time you come back to the center, you have that nice inhale, lifting the chest and the crown of the head, not the chin. Keep the neck neutral. Exhale, round the back, maybe come to the other heel. Maybe roll it all the way around like a big barrel roll. But each inhale coming back to center. If you're rolling one way, maybe change it the other way. Whatever feels good for your body. Maybe just stay in the traditional cat-cow. Staying center today. Maybe that's what your body feels, but that feels good. Maybe wag the tail a little bit. Whatever feels good for you. I don't like to say there's any rules for cat-cow because every day our back feels different. And so you need to do whatever feels good for your body. One more inhale and exhale. Coming back to neutral. Take those knees nice and wide. If that doesn't feel good for you, you can keep the knees closer together. But if they go wider, you have the toes come together and then push back to your child's pose. Let those hips sink back towards those heels. Walk the hands in front of you and then allow the chest to drop down. Now, if that feels uncomfortable for your hips in any way, you can take that blanket or towel that you have with you, put it behind those knees, and then sit back on that. That'll give you a little bit of reprieve. And you can also bring those knees closer together if it feels good just to rest the body on the thighs that way. So do what feels good for you in your child's pose. Personally, I prefer the little bit wider one, but that's just my personal preference. As you exhale down, you can have the head turned to the side with the arms to the side and the palms up if that feels good, or the arms straight ahead. Again, pick what feels good for you. You can also use your block to rest your head on. So you might be like this. So pick the position that feels good for you. Adjust it so that it fits your body today. If you have a belly or a bosom that's getting in the way, just shove it in and pull it over to the side to give yourself a little bit more room for your body to come down. In this child's pose, take a nice big inhale. Feel the back ribs and the whole back side of the body lifting up as that belly and chest inflates and pushes away from the mat and the leg. And as you exhale, allow the chest to sink. Allow the hips to release. Feel the lower back spreading. And the pelvic area releasing down, surrendering with each breath. Continue to follow that breath. Bring that gaze back to that third eye center. Inhaling up. Exhaling, letting the body sink. This child's pose is a very real pose. When we do it in the beginning of a practice, we really feel how it pulls on different parts of our body. And it doesn't feel so easy. As we loosen up our body and later in the practice, the child's pose will feel more restorative and it actually much more relaxing. So at any time during this practice, if you feel like your body needs to take a child's pose, then take the child's pose. It's a very real pose and you're definitely helping your body being in this position. Continue to follow that breath. One more breath. Now this time, if you have the hands behind you, reach them in front of you and crawl those fingers to the edge of the mat. Lift the elbows off the mat. Really reach, extending that lower body all the way from the tailbone to the crown of the head. And then inhale up those hips, coming and walking the body forward so the hips are directly over the knees.
Walking those hands out and then allowing the chest to drop in what we call a puppy pose. So you want those knees to be hip distance apart, so you might need to adjust them a little bit. Exhaling it down. Your chest may or may not reach that floor. I'm a little bit more open in my upper thoracic area, so I will be down. But most people are here. And again, you can use those blocks here for that head, getting into that back. Chin might be there. This is getting into our shoulders. This is a great alternative to a down dog. Keep breathing. Take another big inhale and then slowly shift that body forward, dropping those elbows down, shifting the body all the way forward so that it comes down to the ground. The elbow should be directly underneath the shoulders. I hope you guys can see me. It looks like the sun is coming in here. In the Sphinx pose, if this bothers your shoulders, turn the thumbs up. Take a nice big inhale, lifting the chest, keeping the neck neutral, reaching the crown of the head up. And as you exhale, feel the pelvic bones sinking into the earth, into this back bend. With each inhale, feel the body elongating, pushing the elbows into the ground and pulling them back towards the hips, but they're not actually moving. It's kind of like they're stuck on the mat. So you're really pulling that chest up and forward on that inhale. The shoulders are relaxing back, and then as you exhale, you're feeling that back relax. You might feel that lower belly or the lower ribs touch the mat. And then slowly go ahead and release the body all the way down, bringing the hands right next to the chest, tops of the feet on the floor. We're going to come into a little baby cobra here. So inhale up the shoulders towards your ears, and then exhale them back, behind the back, pull them back toward it, and then lift the chest off the mat. The hands are just hovering. They can touch the ground, but they're not pushing into the ground at all. The neck is neutral. Exhale it down. Go ahead, push into the mat, come up to the knees, and then push back to that child's pose once more. I'm going to make sure my camera is not blocking me. I think you guys are getting the sun. I'm going to try to get a different angle here. All right. Sorry about that. Okay, let's try that angle. Okay. So back into that child's pose. Okay, then walk the hands all the way back so you come up onto your knees. Take a nice big inhale, take that left leg and then bring it all the way forward. Coming on keeping on the back knee. You can flip that mat over. I'm going to change my direction here. So you can give yourself a little bit of cushion by turning the mat over. If it bothers your knee, you can also take your blanket that you might have and bring your knee on that as well. Go ahead and grab onto those blocks. Make sure you have those close by. That back knee down. We're in a low lunge here. We're going to work on the psoas here. So this is where we're going to want to use our blocks. I'm going to use books here. So walk those blocks back, and you can have the blocks tall or short, depending on the length of your hands, and walk your body back. Make sure there's space between your legs, okay? We don't want to be on a tightrope here. Walk the body back so you're nice and tall here. Inhaling up nice and tall, and then as you exhale, allow the hips to release. This is working on the psoas muscle. The psoas muscle is muscles attached to the diaphragm, comes all the way through the front of the body, comes all the way back and attaches to the back of our lumbar spine, which is responsible for a lot of our lower back issues. So when we have a tight psoas from sitting down a lot, it becomes a lot big issue. So inhale up. Exhale, let the hips release. Breathing. One more inhale. Make sure that that knee is right above the ankle. We don't want the knee too far in front. In the low lunge, it's not quite as critical, but it's always best to have that knee in line with the ankle. Protects our knees. Go ahead and slowly release the blocks down. Bring those hands back. Tuck the back toe under, and just maybe lift up that back knee for a moment and shift your weight back towards the right heel. You can use your blocks here as well. Use your blocks. That feels good for your body. Breathing. Slowly drop the back knee down and then pull that front foot back. Drop the box and push back to the child's pose. Walk the hands forward into that puppy. Take another big inhale, bring that body forward into that Sphinx. Now, if this bothers your back, walk the elbows out in front of you more, okay? Your body might not be ready for that full elbows under the shoulders pose. So go to where it feels good for you. Exhale that body all the way down. Tuck the toes under for a moment. Push up to a plank. All right, knee plank here. You can bring those legs flat if you want. And then exhale back to the downward facing dog. Child's pose. And then inhale all the way back up. Bring those arms up with you. And exhale those hands in front of you. Let's take that right leg, bring it all the way forward. Okay, coming to that low lunge. If you want something that's a little bit more intense, you can certainly keep the knees up here, okay? I would just say for right now, let's keep the knee down. Make sure the knee is over the ankle. Okay. Go ahead and grab onto those blocks. And then walk yourself back. Try to get in a more elevated position. Let the shoulders relax down. Pull those ribs. Those ribs and belly want to stick forward here. So really pull that right hip back. Pull that belly and ribs in. Nice and tall here. And then exhale, allow the hips to release, getting into the psoas on the other side. And you might find that one side is a little tighter or looser than the other side. That's true with everyone all the time. Go ahead and release those blocks down. Come on down. Tuck the back toe under and then lift up that back heel and shift it back. Breathing. Go ahead and drop the back knee down. Pull that back foot front all the way back. And then now walk into the puppy. Now you can stay here in that puppy, or we can come on up into that table position. I'm going to take you into a downward facing dog. You're going to claw the mat. You don't want to collapse to that inner arch of those, the inner palm of those hands. Make sure the creases of the wrists are facing the front part of your mat. Claw the mat as if you're trying to like pick something up, but it's not going anywhere. Really pushing the palm out of the thumb, the hand, and the pinky fingers into the mat. Tuck all 10 toes under the mat. Take a nice big inhale, pull the belly in, and then push your sitting bones back until you lift up those knees. And push that body all the way back until it won't go anymore. Inhale up the hips. Exhale back towards the heels. Downward facing dog. Now you always have that puppy as an option. Go ahead and shift the weight from one heel to the other, walking the dog. Breathing here. Don't collapse into those front wrists. Really keep pushing yourself away from the mat. Inhale up those toes nice and high, the heels high, push your weight back, and then exhale back towards the heels. Don't worry about if the knees are bent. And then baby step all the way up from the front of the mat. If you're in that puppy pose, walk your hands back. And then come up onto the knees, hands and knees, and find your way to the front of the mat. Forward fold here. Let the knees bend. Now we're going to inhale halfway up. So just bring those hands up to the sides of the legs and get that body in a nice number 7 position, get in the curve. You can also keep the hands on the floor if it's available, or maybe even blocks for that halfway. Exhale, fold. Soften the knees, place the hands on the hips, squeeze the elbows, and then inhale all the way up. Inhale up those arms. And then swan dive it down by softening the knees, palms facing the sky until they get to the shoulders, and then they come back all the way down. Stepping all the way back, dropping the knees down. Exhale, chaturanga down. So it's a push-up. Pull the elbows back towards the hips, shifting the weight forward, and then slowly coming all the way down. Uncurling those toes. Now we're going to go into a regular cobra. So pull those hands back, even with the chest, and then push into the mat, inhaling up, shoulders back, towards the shoulders, nice and wide. Don't jut out the chin. Exhale it down. You can stay with that baby cobra as well. Tuck the toes back, inhale up, and back to the child's pose. Come back up into a plank position, table position. Tuck the toes under, claw the mat. Let's push back to that downward facing dog. Walk the hands back this time. If you're in puppy, walk your hands back to your knees, and then back to the feet, tuck the toes and back up. And then inhale all the way back up. Hands together in front of the heart center. We're going to go ahead and we're going to step that left foot all the way forward, turning the back foot sideways. So now we are on a tightrope. We're coming into our warrior 2. So the heels intersecting the back arch. Your body is centered over the hips here. Think of a string coming from the ground up through the tailbone, through the crown of the head, arms out to the side, shoulder width. If your shoulders tend to be tightened up, turn the palms up, soften the shoulders, bring the palms down. Look over that center front finger and then bend into that front left knee. Have the knee go out towards that pinky toe. So if you look down at that foot, you're going to see that knee in line over those center toes or out towards the pinky a little bit. Don't collapse to the inner arch of the back foot. Feel the back edge of that foot, the ball mound of the toe and the heel. Breathing. Whoa. Turn that and reverse that warrior. Breathing there. Try not to bring that hand to that knee joint. Bring above it, or maybe even reach a little bit below it, challenging yourself. Exhale it back. That warrior 2. Place that back hand on the hip, and then reach with that left hand until the body no longer will reach. Into the elbow and place it just above the knee. Look at that knee again. Don't let that body collapse. Open up those hips. Open up that arm. Take that arm on the side of the mat in front of you, and then swing it over the head. Side angle pose. Don't collapse to the inner arch. Take a nice big inhale. Come all the way back up to that warrior. And then inhale up the hands, and then pivot on that left foot forward. So now you're facing the side of the mat, and then a nice big forward fold. All the way down. And then to adjust the width of your feet. Inhale it halfway. Again, you can use those blocks if you have blocks. If you're using a block, just take that left hand and place it right underneath the nose, or you can just do it on the ground, and then inhale up. Exhale that right arm down, place it underneath the nose, and then inhale up the left arm. Exhale it down. Forward fold a little bit more. Inhale it halfway. Try to get that little curvature on the spine. Pull the shoulders back toward those hips. Exhale. Place the hands on the hips. Soften the knees, hinging at the hips, and inhale all the way up. Pivot on the right foot for that toe pointing to the other side of the mat. Now you should be intersecting that back arch. Now you need to adjust the stems. Arms straight ahead, gazing over that center finger, bending into that front knee, not with the body, but just the knee. Breathing. Shift the weight. Bring your awareness to the back foot. Right? Don't sink into that back arch. Checking that knee. Make sure that knee's not coming way in. It's out towards that pinky toe. Allow the hips to release, opening up a little more. Now turn the front palm open. Take a nice big inhale and reach it up and allow the body to bend back. Placing that left hand on that back leg. Inhale, bend into the front knee a little bit more. Exhale. Inhale, reach. Exhale. Slowly bring yourself back to that warrior two. You might be feeling it in the thigh right now, that front thigh. Why they call it the fire pose. Bring that back left hand on your waist and then reach forward towards the end of the mat until the body no longer can move. Hinge the elbow, place it just above the knee on that right leg. Point that left hand on to the side of the mat and then swing it over head to the side angle pose. Again, don't be collapsing into the arches of the feet. Maybe flex all 10 toes off the ground. So really feel the four corners of those feet. Roll that left shoulder back. Breathing. Now big inhale, bring yourself all back up. Inhale, up those arms, turn that right foot forward. Exhale, fold it down. Once again, that wide stance forward. Inhale it halfway. Exhale. Go ahead and tick-tock the feet together. So they're about hip distance apart. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up. Bring those hands together. Exhale in front of the heart center. Now we're going to turn the feet slightly out. And you're going to squat it down. Exhale it all the way down. Feel free to release the hands. We're coming into a Malasana. Getting into those hips. Now, if you have a hip structure that makes this really difficult, a lot of you might be up on the heels. You can use your blocks here, sitting back. Okay, you can put blanket behind the heels here to help you. Bring the hands down. Okay. Some of you might have a more open hip structure where it allows you to come all the way down and maybe even lift up the head. This Malasana is one of those great poses for us, and I say that you should do it every day. You gotta be thinking, you're gonna be crazy. Slowly release that, pushing into the ground, lifting up the hips, and then we're gonna find our way into a seated position. Into those hips a little bit more. We're going to come into a Baddha Konasana here. I want you to bring the soles of the feet together and allow the knees to go wide.
Now, if you have a closed hip structure, and this is all anatomy, it has nothing to do with flexibility. I have a very loose hip structure, a wider hip structure, so it allows my knees to fall out wide. It has nothing to do with my flexibility. But some of us have closed hip structures. So if you have those knees that are up here or the hips are particularly tight, use blocks to help support you because this shouldn't hurt at all. Your feet can be close in or they can be out a little bit. So whatever feels good for you. Take a nice big inhale. You can hold on to the toes. Bring your hands forward or maybe even place them on the knees if it feels good. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, feel the belly button coming towards the heels of the feet. Keep the back straight here. In a moment, we round the back. We take away any of the usefulness of this pose. So inhale, feel the back leg. Exhale. Belly come forward. Exhale. Belly come forward. Breathe. Feel that lower back spreading. Feel the hips releasing. And slowly bring yourself all the way back up. Go ahead and take those knees up. Take them as wide as the mat. Bring the hands back behind you and just kind of windshield wiper them back and forth here. Okay, and then let's find our way onto our back. So come on slowly down onto the back and bring the knees into the chest for a moment here. Give yourself a nice little hug. Rock it back and forth. Give a little self a little bit of a back massage. A little bit of circles here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring the right leg down. And we're going to take that left ankle and just cross it above that right knee. Now, you're going to go ahead and bring the right leg up. Now, if this is too much for your hips, you can certainly just cross at the ankles, right? Or you can even cross it like this if it feels okay for you. But if it feels fine, go ahead and cross it here. Use your strap or your hands and thread the left hand through the legs and the right hand behind the right thigh. Using the left elbow to push that left knee away as you pull the right leg in. Keep that left foot flexed. The body wants to sway towards the left side, towards the bent leg side. So try to keep that right knee directly above the right hip here. Take a nice big inhale as you exhale. Feel that left hip release as you slowly push it away. You can even just hold on to that and maybe use your hand if that feels good. If the hip is feeling particularly tight, sometimes it helps to go in the joint there and just give it a little bit of space and then go back to the knee. Breathing. Again, play with that movement left to right to feel that difference. Keep breathing. This is our reclined pigeon. Slowly release that. Bring that leg off. Give yourself a little bit of a hug here. Let both feet come down. Take that left leg and let's cross it over onto the right knee. When you're ready, go ahead and bring that leg up. Thread that right hand through. Left hand on the other side. I'll show you with the strap here. So if you're someone who wants to use a strap, you can definitely use a strap and then push that leg away. You can still do this with it crossed with the ankles, right? Just nice and gentle. Or this is a little bit more intense for above the ankles, but you know, might feel it. So I would say here or ankles is probably the best bet here. Keep breathing. Every time you exhale, just give that body, let that right hip release a little bit more. I like to think of allowing our body to move in millimeters. So with each exhale, just envision the body just shifting just a millimeter. It seems much more attainable than trying to get that whole body to move and shift. Keep breathing. And then slowly release that leg down. And go ahead and elongate the right leg, bring the right knee in, and this time take your strap, if you have that handy, place it on the arch of that left foot and then reach it up towards the sky. Inhale, really reach with that left foot. Keep it nice and flexed, and then as you exhale, allow the breath and the hip to plug into the ground here. Getting into the back of those legs. Go ahead and grab onto the strap with the left arm, take the right arm out to the right, and then gently allow that leg to fall open to the left, using your elbow on the ground to help support that leg. Now, if the right shoulder is really coming off the ground, take the back of the fingernails and do like a half angel wing, like if you would make a snow angel on the ground and just bring it back and forth, and that'll help release that shoulder. If the toe is available on this stretch, you can certainly hold on with the toe if you don't want to use the strap. Inhale up that leg back to center. Flex that foot, exhale that hip back into the ground. Go ahead and bring that right hand onto that strap, bring the left hand out, and then let's go ahead and cross the leg over to the other side, getting into that IT band, that outer edge of that foot. Keep pushing that right heel away from you. Breathing. Inhaling up that foot back to center. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to hinge the knee, bend the knee down towards us, keeping the foot as it looks like it's stepping on the ceiling, using the strap here, or maybe holding the outside edge of the foot if it's available, keeping that right arm out to the right. Take a nice big and exhale, let that knee come out, like kind of towards that armpit, into our happy baby, the half happy baby. If it feels good to let the leg go wide, you can do that. Getting into that hip here. This is where you'll notice that psoas. If we have a real tight psoas, you'll feel your leg coming up like this. If it stays nice and flat.
See if you can get this.
Go ahead and release that foot if you're holding on to it, or let that foot strapped up one more time. Take another big inhale, and as you exhale, bring that leg all the way down to meet the other one. And then switch sides. So bring that right leg all the way up. Now don't be having this death grip on the strap. Don't bring the shoulders and the head up. Keep your shoulders and your head and your arms relaxed here. It's all about the lower body right here. Flex that foot, inhale it up, that heel, exhale, plug the hip down. Keep the muscles in the face loose. Don't clench the jaw. Pay attention to how tightly you're gripping the strap. Breathe in to the back of that leg. Now slowly wrap that strap around the hand, whatever's comfortable for you, and then on the next exhale, open up that leg towards the right. Using the strap to support that leg.
What you do.
Breathing. Sorry, guys, I got someone in the background talking. Allowing the leg to open up here. Slowly inhale up that leg once again. Plug the hip into the ground here. Slowly release that right hand, switch hands, open up the right arm to the right, and then exhale that leg over the opposite side.
What are you looking for?
That leg may fall back towards the other leg more, and that's fine. Let it go to wherever it needs to go. Support it with the elbow and the strap. Keep that foot flexed. Use your breath to release the leg and the head. Slowly inhale up that leg back to center. And then hinge the knee towards the chest at first, trying to keep that foot look like it's stepping on the ceiling. A lot of times our leg wants to come down here. We want to keep it up here. So pull that knee towards that armpit or just the outside of it. If the outside of the foot is available, go ahead and grab onto it. If not, don't worry about it. Do what feels good for your body. Allow the gravity to pull that knee and that thigh down. Push that left heel out. Don't forget about that left leg. Breathing here. Happy baby on the other side. Slowly release that leg all the way back up. Exhale that heel all the way down. Release that strap. Bring both knees into the chest here. Rock it back and forth. Open the arms into a T and then allow the knees to fall to the left. Maybe take that right arm on top of that left, or that left arm on top of the right thigh. Little twist. Slowly release that twist, come back to center. Exhale the legs over to the other side. Twist the other way. Inhale back to center. Give yourself one more little hug. Extend the right leg and the left leg. Allow the arms to come out to the side, 6 to 8 inches. Roll the shoulders back a little bit here. Maybe use the blanket, if you have one, underneath the knees. That might feel good for you. Preparing for our Shavasana. Take a nice big inhale, bring that gaze back to that third eye center. And as you exhale, feel the full body surrender down. Inhale through the crown of the head. Feel the coolness of the air coming in. And as you exhale, feel the body releasing any stress, tension, anxiety. Feel the shoulders releasing and relaxing. Feeling that prana make its way down each arm, past the elbows, through the wrists, out the tip of each finger. Continue to follow that breath as you inhale all the way up to the crown of the head. Feel the chest rise, the belly and the ribs expand. And then feel the heart center soften on the exhale. Feel the navel center pull back.
Feel the prana make its way all the way down the spine, through the hips, and down each leg. Feel it as it moves past the knees, through the ankles, and all the way out the tips of the toes. So with each healing breath, take that inhale all the way up. And as you exhale, you're releasing any remaining stress, tension, or anxiety out the nose, the ears, the mouth, the tips of the fingers, the tips of the toes, every pore of the body. That the only thing remaining is that peaceful, healing energy. And just take a moment to enjoy that feeling. Slowly wiggle those fingers and toes, bringing your awareness back to the present moment. Then bend one knee and the other, giving yourself a gentle hug. And then gently roll to your side using your arm or your hand as a pillow and taking a moment to reflect on your practice. Notice how the body is settled, the breath is settled, and the mind is settled. With your head heavy and your eyes closed, use your arm and your hands to help push you up to a seated position. Bring your hands together in a prayer position in front of the heart center. Now rub those hands together, creating some heat and friction to the palms of those hands. Cup your eyes and block out all the light. Open your eyes into that darkness, absorbing that energy. Close your eyes, bring the hands back together at the prayer position. Bow your head. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today. I did record it, so we'll have to see how that all worked today, and we'll test that with links. So thank you for joining me. Let's try to do it again on Tuesday. We can try this early time again, or we can try it a little bit later to see if that works for some people as well. We can try maybe a 9 o'clock time as well. So let's go ahead and do the whole Facebook message thing to try to figure out what works best for the group. And I'm definitely game for an early morning Thanksgiving class as well. So thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Thanks. Sorry I was tardy.
Bye, bye.